Hey, what is going on YouTube? Mike here back with another video. So on its own, the Google Pixel 8 is a pretty solid smartphone. It comes with a lot of the basics, and considering that it's a 2-year-old device, it's a lot more affordable these days, which may be tempting for some of you out there who want to look into getting one for yourself. With that said though, should you really go for the Google Pixel 8 or just settle for one of the newer models? Well, we're going to take a look in this video. And if you want to check out our other Pixel content, I will drop some links in the description below. With that said, let's get started. Alright, so let's go over what makes the Google Pixel 8 a good option if you're looking for an affordable Pixel phone in 2025. For one, it's still getting support for the latest software updates from Google, and this does come with a lot of new features as well. So Google did promise several years of software support for this phone since its launch back in 2023. So if you're the type of person who keeps their phone for long periods of time, and if you're upgrading from a much older Pixel device, then you'll be glad to know that Google is still rolling out software updates for the Pixel 8. So of course it's going to be able to run Android 16 as well as the new Material 3 expressive theme, and with up to 7 years of major Android upgrades, it's going to get at least Android version 21, which is kind of crazy if you think about it compared to older Pixel devices. So yeah, that's one big factor to consider with the Pixel 8. Another major highlight of this phone is the camera performance. Now it does come with a 50 megapixel and 12 megapixel ultra-wide sensor setup on the rear, which is joined by a 10.5 megapixel camera on the front. But Google does have this magic with its computational photography, which allows the Google Pixel phones to take terrific looking shots. And if you're someone who's into casual mobile photography like me, then I reckon you're gonna have a good time with the Google Pixel 8. It's capable of taking great shots in most situations, and features like portrait mode and night sight do generally produce great looking results. Of course, it's not perfect, and you're gonna get a more versatile camera hardware setup on other phones. But again, for most point-and-shoot scenarios, the Pixel 8 is gonna be a very ideal smartphone for mobile photography. I do find that video quality in general is a bit lacking, so if you're someone who really prioritizes video recording on a smartphone, they might want to go for an iPhone or maybe a Samsung Galaxy phone instead, as the Pixel 8's video recording capabilities could be a bit better. Now moving on to performance, as an everyday phone, the Pixel 8 is more than capable. It does come with 8GB of RAM and the Tensor G3 chipset. Browsing the web, switching between different apps is going to be a generally smooth experience. And of course, the cleaner OS means that you're not getting bloatware on your phone, unlike what you'd see on other devices from Xiaomi or Samsung, for example. So all in all, it's a cleaner, more efficient user experience, at least going by my usage. Now of course, it's not really a gaming phone, and while you could run most games on the Google Play Store, graphically heavy titles like Genshin Impact for example, or even XCOM 2 might have a bit of stutters every now and then on the Pixel 8. So if you're looking for a smartphone that's really designed for performance in gaming, then you might want to look for something else. Alright, so it did launch at around $700 in the US, and right now it's a lot cheaper, going for maybe $400 or even $350 if you know where to look. You're gonna find it cheaper on most places like eBay or even Amazon sometimes, and I've even seen it go cheaper than the Pixel 9a for example. So again, as far as Pixel phones go, this is one of the more affordable options that you can go with. Now with all that being said, it's important to note that this phone does come with some pretty considerable downsides, which you might want to know before buying one. Now it does come with a decently sized 4575 mAh battery, and while you can generally get a day's worth of use out of this phone, I find that it has trouble with endurance in the long term, especially on busier days where you might need to use a bit of 5G data, GPS navigation, or in days where you're using the camera a lot. I find that it tends to drain a lot quickly, and you might need to charge at least twice in one day. A lot of people are also pointing to the fact that the modem inside this phone isn't the most efficient out there, so there are some situations where I've seen some considerable standby battery drain, which is something that you might want to keep in mind, especially if battery longevity is a major priority for you. Going back to the Tensor G3 chip, it does tend to get a bit warm. I think this is something that Google has kind of improved on with the Pixel 9 and the Pixel 10 phones. But with the Pixel 8, the Tensor G3 does run pretty hot in a lot of situations. And again, it's something that really takes off some points from the Pixel 8's overall score for me. By comparison, one of the newer Snapdragon flagship phones will give you a cooler experience overall. So yeah, it's one of those hardware quirks with the Tensor G3 that you really have to watch out for. And last but not least, I've been seeing a lot of complaints online with the Pixel 8's display. So a lot of people have been getting green screen or sometimes even pink screen issues with this phone. Google has addressed this before, and for a while it did offer repairs for Pixel 8 owners, but I personally think that this is a major risk that you must be willing to take if you're ever looking to buy this phone. So yeah, that does it for this quick video. Let me know what you guys think about the Google Pixel 8 in the comments below. Overall, it's a pretty ideal phone if you want a device that runs a mostly clean version of Android, comes with great camera performance, and frequent software support. But on the other hand, for people who are looking for a more performance-oriented device or something that doesn't really get too hot in your hand, or maybe you're on the fence about the display issues on this phone, then as I said earlier, you might want to go for something else. And yeah, don't forget to check out our other content here on TeamViewer. Thanks a lot for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.